Welcome back. This is our lead story. Gauteng police are on high alert after 3 kidnappings in the past week. In the latest incident, a 30-year-old Gauteng mother has been reunited with her family after being abducted on Tuesday. Tumishang Mohatle was allegedly taken by 3 men from her Atteridgeville home. The suspects posed as police officials from the tracing unit. They then contacted Mohatle's family demanding a ransom. For more on this now, I'm joined by spokesperson for the National Police Commissioner, Athlenda, Mathe. Thanks for your time, Athlenda. So how many kidnapping cases has police actually attended to in the recent past, especially in Gauteng?
Okay. A very good evening, Shahan, and to your viewers. Let's firstly take this opportunity to commend the multidisciplinary team that worked around the clock to find and rescue our latest victim. Shahan, there has been a number of cases that have been reported, not only in Gauteng, but also in other provinces. In most cases, you find kidnappings are related to other crimes as well, and not only for ransom. I can confirm that in the last 24 hours, we had 3 reported cases.
Yeah. So is there a concern that there's an increase in kidnapping cases in Gauteng? Because the Premier has also mentioned that there were 2 others involving a ransom.
Shahan, for the South African Police Service, 1 kidnapping is one too many. While there's a lot that we are doing in terms of proactive measures such as education and awareness on kidnappings, we have a 72-hour activation plan that helps us to respond immediately to cases with positive outcomes. Therefore, we always encourage family and friends to immediately report these cases to us, as the first 72 hours are very crucial. You'll remember that the first 72 hours are very crucial because this is the time when collection and gathering of information, evidence and intelligence is important.
What should people actually look out for to protect themselves from kidnapping? Because it's hard to tell, right? You can't say whether you're being targeted or if somebody who shows up at your doorstep is a police official or not.
Okay. So firstly, Shahan, always remember that there are various reasons that contribute to kidnappings. And quite often kidnappings are for financial gain. So kidnapping is not something that frequently occurs. It almost always happens that the suspect or victim is known to the suspect, and as well as the suspect knows the financial status of these victims. So we usually advise our communities and people not to expose themselves unnecessarily, and that people must always be vigilant and alert of their surroundings.
So we've also heard from the Premier's office that a family paid ransom for their loved one to be returned safely. What can you tell us about that case, and whether or not it's a good idea for families to directly negotiate with kidnappers?
Shahan, we do not encourage people to pay ransom because there is no guarantee that the victim will be returned alive. So that's why, hence I was saying, we always encourage people to report the crime immediately within 72 hours. Immediately contact the nearest police station. We also normally advise families not to try and be brave by meeting with these kidnappers, because quite often they're usually dangerous and very desperate. You understand? And families are also encouraged to also handle information with care, but also allow the South African Police Service to handle most of these cases. So in a nutshell, Shahan, we as the South African Police Service, we do not believe in paying ransoms. We always discourage this with the family.
Does there seem to be a trend, a particular MO in these recent kidnapping cases outside of the ransom? Let's talk about how they approach people, etc.
So, Shahan, it will be difficult to talk about the modus operandi that these criminals are doing because, firstly, as we speak, there is a live case that we are working on, and we wouldn't want to jeopardize that case. But also, we don't want to give these criminals an insight of what we know on how they operate. But safe to say, we encourage our communities and our people to be constantly vigilant and alert at all times. And as I've indicated, not to expose themselves unnecessarily so. And if they do find that they are in trouble, they should remember to download the MySAPS app on any Android or smartphone. They should also remember the Crime Stop hotline number, which is 08600 and 10111, and always inform family members of your whereabouts.
Yeah. So just in terms of the people who have been safely returned to their families, Athlenda, were they harmed at all? Have they spoken to you about the conditions they were held under and how they were treated? Are these violent kidnappers?
Okay. So as I've indicated, most of these cases are fresh. They happened within the last 24 hours. So in our first case, which was our recent success, the lady was kidnapped from her home. She was kept at a shack in Khabeletsani in Gauteng. We mobilized all resources and eventually found her within hours of the commission of the crime. And safe to say, when we found her, she was safe and unharmed. But we then took her for further medical care. We also had our police negotiators that took her for counseling and debriefing. We also had a second incident that was in Olivenhoutbosch, where two brothers were also kidnapped. Unfortunately, a ransom was paid, which we highly discouraged. They were released while investigations continue, where we are searching for those suspects. The third case, as indicated, Shahan, we cannot comment on it because the victim is still captive, and whatever we might say might compromise and jeopardize the investigation. So our focus now is safely returning that victim back to their families.
All right. I wish you luck in that investigation. Appreciate your time. Spokesperson for the National Police Commissioner, Athlenda Mathe.